Hi, my name is Catherine Lee, and this is my testimony. I was born and raised in a family that practiced shamanism. Growing up, I had family members who believed in God and went to church. At that time, I didn't understand, nor did I question who God was at that time. I lived a very simple life growing up. The only thing that I knew and the only thing that mattered to me at the time was taking care of my dad and taking care of my grandma. At a very young age, my dad was diagnosed with kidney failure, and my grandma had underlying health issues due to her age. So the only thing I really knew at that time was to take care of them. In September 2009, my dad passed away. And in December of 2009, my grandma passed away. And the sudden passing of my dad and my grandma turned my world upside down. Because we were so young, my siblings and I, we didn't know how to comfort each other. And me and my mom, we didn't really have a good relationship. So finding comfort in her was really hard. Everybody kind of hid their feelings from each other. Everybody kind of grieved in their own way, and eventually kind of moved on with their life. So when my two sisters got married, I felt more alone than I was before, and I felt myself being even more lonely, very depressed, and I felt sorry for myself all the time. And, being at such a young age to experience this pain was very difficult for me. You always hear people say that, when you don't have a father figure, that people disrespect you. And, I always thought that saying was just the same old people would say to you. But, losing my dad, validated that, people and relatives disrespect you because I no longer had a dad. With all that was happening, and the mess and the mess of emotions that was, I was going through, I found comfort in my friends, and being with them helped me in some way get away from what I was dealing with. I had a few friends who believed in God and attended Sacramento Hmong Alliance Church. And in June of 2010, they invited me to join them in one of their service. And, not knowing anything about church service, not knowing anything about God, it was something new for me to try. And so in my thinking, it was going to be a one-time deal, and that was that. But eventually, I continued to go with them to Sunday service. I continued to go to church with them. And I found myself finding peace in that. For some reason, it made me forget about my worries. It made me forget about my depression. It made me forget about my current life situation. It kind of just put me in a peace of mind for the time being. And the more I attended church service with this family, the more I grew closer to the family. I participated in their family night devotions. I attended church activities with them. As I grew closer to this family, I start to wonder how this family can accept me to be a part of their family. How can these parents accept me as their own? What was it that they were willing and accepting of me? And, I start to question, was it God trying to love me through this family? 6 years later, I decided to give my life to Jesus. My mom being the only living parent that I had, I wanted her permission and wanted her approval. In Matthew's chapter 8, verses 22, Jesus said, "Follow me and let the dead bury the dead." One of his followers wanted to bury his mother and his father before he followed Jesus, and that was just an excuse he used to not follow Jesus. And so, to me, was I using my mom's permission and approval as an excuse to not follow Jesus? Because I can hear him calling me, and I can feel him tugging my heart. And so there comes a point where I didn't want to wait anymore. And, it was silly of me to want my mom's permission. On October 6, 2016, I decided to give my life to Jesus. And in January 2017, I became a part of Sacramento Hmong Alliance church family. And in 2017, I also got baptized. My life is different now. My relationship with my mom is better. There's no greater pain than losing a parent. But with the understanding of God's love and understanding who God is, He gave me the perseverance to overcome this pain. The pain, the depression, and the loneliness will always remain, and it doesn't go away. Every now and then, you'll kind of think of your loved ones, Every now and then I think of my dad and my grandma. But the pain and the hurt that I feel is different now than what it used to be. God's love for me is so big that it gives me some sort of healing and comfort, through this loss, through this grievance. I always wondered, like, God, if you love me so much, why did you take my dad away? Why did you take my grandma away? Why did you give me this pain? But hearing his words and getting a glimpse of his love, somewhat filled that void that my heart was missing. And, and it made me realize that, He gave me all this pain just so that I can seek Him. My relationship with God is continuously growing, and, my understanding of God is still growing. And I hope to be able to serve Him more in this church. And I hope that one day I can bring my family to know God. Thank you for listening to my story. God bless.